Hello, you're welcome. Today is my second day talking to the camera challenge, and it gives me the feeling of your second day at work, where the HR maybe the first day when you came in, and maybe it's an on-premise job, and she took you around her premise and guided you some of the company tools, some of the few basic things, the ground rules, and maybe she didn't finish everything, introducing you to your department, your team. I mean, it's exciting and fun, right? The same thing that I'm having. I'm excited right now. And in my second day, I'm like, okay, what do I talk about? And what will I be consistent? Those are the questions that I'm asking that pushed me like yesterday to start thinking of things of value that I can talk. Like, like, okay, I'm living life and I can share this life to someone and someone can pick a thing or two. I was like, yeah, why not? So yesterday, I read two books. One is more a spiritual book, and the other is a marketing book. The first one is The Hour of God. The Hour. They call it Hour. The Hour of God. This book here. This book. It's called The Hour of God by John Bevere. And then the second was Growth Hacker Marketing by Ryan Holiday. These are two different books. That one was speaking into my spirituality, and the other one is more into trying to market a product, getting into the marketing mind of getting the marketing mind and the marketing generally, getting into marketing. Now, what were my learnings from this? I didn't finish the Hour of God. I've started. It's like you may think it's more like a devotional, but it's not. He has structured it in a way that you can read it slowly, and it speaks to how we should fear God. And there's somewhere he mentions like, okay, the theme of the book is fear. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of everything. That's a strong fear, and he mentions in a way that there is a constructive fear and there's destructive fear. A lot of the time we are always on that destructive fear where we take fear as okay, let me get it from the book. He says from the book actually, uh, in a time when most regard fear as detrimental or damaging, to declare the fear of the Lord as beneficial and prized virtue seems counterintuitive. So he was trying to say a lot of people regard fear as detrimental or damaging, and to declare that the fear of the Lord is beneficial and prized virtue seems counterintuitive in the world we're living right now. And then he puts a guideline on how to read the book in a way that in each chapter that you read and finish, there is a scripture that you have to memorize and then try to apply it into your life. The first scripture that he in the first chapter is Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. It says, "There shall be stability in your times, an abundance of salvation, wisdom and knowledge, and reverent fear and worship of the Lord is your treasure and his." I find that very profound. And then he says, okay, after reading and memorizing this scripture, you have to apply it somewhere using 5 P's, which is 1, you need to read the passage and understand it, and 2, get a point out of that passage. When you get that point, and then 3, you need to ponder on it. You ponder on that point and reflect on what it says. And then 4th, you pray about it. You pray that God convicts you and guides you through. Then 5th, and then you profess that scripture and be like, okay, I profess this in my life, and this is why. In so doing, it helps you to be a better person. So that was the first book that I read. I only read the preface, the introduction, and then the first chapter. I stopped it there. I had some other things. I'm juggling also with another book. As I've mentioned, it is called Growth Hacker Marketing by Ryan Holiday. Now, this book is actually very, very interesting. It's interesting in the sense that it changes the mind of a traditional marketer right now. It has also a brief summary of the book is it has it has a 4 steps. It's in the 4 steps. One, you need to understand that you need to have a product. This is more for a person who has a product or a service. Also, I saw it fits even in general when you want to have impact. I want to do something. One, so if you have a product or a service, you need to have need to start from a point of you need to have the product market target. Sorry, that you need to have the product market fit. Yes, the product market fit. This is ideally a service or product that fits in a market that people want. When you have that, then you start the second step. It goes. The second step is you need to find your growth hack for that product. Something that if you put into the market, it will double and triple your the sales, and it will grow. And then three, you need to start growing by one within your niche, and you go by one and two, keep growing, then 2 to 4, and then you go viral. And second, then you just double down on retaining your customers and optimizing it, and then and that's the cycle. Generally, that's a brief summary. He mentions, highlights companies such as Airbnb, Instagram, Uber. One thing that he mentioned, like, okay, and also Hotmail. Uh, he mentions how they say Uber, when they were starting out in the US, they started by giving out free rides in certain periods of time, and then when they gave out free rides, they started seeing some of the pinpoints, the pain points of these people that they are facing, and also started delivering certain things that are like for free, ensuring that they attract the customers. How they attract the customers, then they start saying, okay, how can we scale this? That's just a small snippet of it. I just read in a high level. I skimmed through. It's actually a small book, and I loved it. And I felt like, okay, it is worth reading. Now, getting to some of the things, the meat of what he was trying to say, it is like this. As a product owner or you are a marketer, things are changing so drastically. Now, if you're developing a product, you need to look at it from a point of how can I make a product that is needed right now? And then when you get that product that is needed in the market right now, and then you need to, that's a product market fit. Then you need to have that product in, you need to do it in a minimum viable product. You need to delve down. This product, I should have it as a minimum viable product. In developing this product, it should be a minimum viable product. And then when you have a minimum viable product, then you go to that product market fit. But you start from the product has to fit into the market. Then in developing the product, it has to be from a point of, it is, you focus on fundamental features that people want at that time. Let's say you want to develop a food ordering application in your location. You ensure that the key features, like someone can log in and make an order for food, and you make it as bare bones as possible. When someone can log in and make an order for the food, and they can make a payment either on the application or on delivery, you're being very specific there. And then maybe more advanced features could be maybe someone can have the favorite, can bookmark the thing. Okay, this can come in onto the application, but as the app grows, okay. And my point is this: ensure when you're developing the product, it has to be as lean as possible and focusing on the fundamentals and what is needed at that time. So that's what the product, that is the minimum viable product. Now, once you've gotten the product market fit, and then to get your growth hack, you need to look at it. Need to think from the beginning. You think from the beginning as you're developing this product. and you bake that advantage onto the product from the beginning, and you focus and double down on that specific hack that people will like and do. And then when you're launching out, you're not launching out to start marketing the product. You launch out when already people like the product. In highlighting some of these startups that I mentioned, like Hotmail, Instagram, Airbnb, how they grew the thing. They grew the thing by being lean and inviting people and having test groups, so such that they test and see if the product is, they validate the product. And if the product is good enough, they keep it niche and keep servicing that specific niche. And when it's okay, that's when they start growing slowly without spending a lot on marketing. Yeah, that is that finding the growth hack. So you need to, while you're developing this product, you have to come from a place where you are focusing on what is the advantage of this product I want to do that people can like. And then when people like it, you start doubling down on that and building upon that and growing and servicing fast your targeted niche, and then you start growing slowly, and over time that's when you start expanding. That was the book, and I felt like really nice. I kept on thinking about it. I didn't finish it, and it's a small book. It's a 50-page book that I read, and I am excited that I'm sharing this. If you read this far, please, I want to hear your thoughts, and maybe if you're taking the challenge as well. I do not know if you're taking it, but to me, I'm like, I can't go back. I'm trying to, as much as, take this and see how it turns out for me. Thank you. Let's chat in the comment, maybe like, maybe share this, and then maybe I get your feedback on what you have to say. Thank you.